What's up, everybody, and welcome to Inside the Game, your one source for everything cool in video games. You can always be a part of our show. All you have to do is go to insidethegame.ca or hit us up in Discord, where there you can submit your clip and end off our show. We've got another jam-packed episode, so let's get started with the rundown. Check it out. At one point, you have tumbleweeds with eyeballs looking at you. You're just like, what is this?
Call of Duty Season 3 is upon us, and I wanted to focus on the Warzone Season 3 update.
My head is swirling right now with the idea of Twisted Metal Battle Royale.
Yeah, right? I know. My mind's going too, Scott.
Bringing that into the modern era would be so interesting.
Yeah. Hey guys, this week we're checking out AC Valhalla again. We're actually jumping into the River Raids DLC.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have the privilege and honor to welcome Lucas from Denki Crew to talk about Last Oasis. That's right, everything looks awesome for today, so let's get kicking it with Hitchhiker. Corey and I are on an interesting ride.
Drew, this week we're taking a wild ride in Hitchhiker.
You want to know the clearest evidence that reality isn't real? Raisins and grapes, man. They're the same thing, but they taste disgusting when eaten together. Obvious bug in the program there, right?
It's like you've wandered into my dream, and I've wandered into yours.
Drew, we got an interesting one this week, man. We're checking out Hitchhiker. This is a dialogue kind of point and click based game where we take 5 separate trips as a hitchhiker, and we're trying to kind of unravel, which honestly is a pretty confusing story. There's some wild stuff that happens throughout the course of this game. What did you think kind of jumping into this unique style game?
Dude, this game is like all over the place. The very beginning was interesting, right? Like, it actually got me hooked. I was like, cool, this seems like a really intriguing story. It's called The Hitchhiker, a mystery game. So right there kind of gives you an indication of what you're in for. But the rest of the game, I was like, what is going on? You basically sit in a car the entire game. At one point, you sit in a restaurant. After that, you get these funky little cutscenes that are just so far out there. Like, man, the design concept was just, Corey, it's hard to put into words how I can express my feelings towards this game, because there's so many weird aspects to the game, so many twists and turns, and just every moment was like, what is going on now? And it was like that the entire time I played the game. Not once was like, oh man, look at this go. Oh, look. No, I was like, what? What? Why? Like, at one point, you have tumbleweeds with eyeballs looking at you. You're just like, what is this?
It seems to be changing the weather conditions.
I'm confused as to really how the game came together. What about you?
Yeah, no, this one is bizarre to say the least. I mean, without giving away too much of the story, essentially what we're trying to do is we're recalling memories along the way through 5 separate trips, which seem to last about, I found, anywhere from about 25 to 40 minutes, depending on which trip you're on. So you're interacting with these drivers, and they seem to know, some information that you don't, and you're trying to fill in the blanks, and things are very confusing. Like, the first drive is through a kind of a farm country, prairie land kind of area, and you're with this raisin farmer, which, I mean, raisin farmers aren't even a thing, man. But it's just so obscure
weird
and bizarre, and the idea behind what they're trying to convey, there's a set of emotions here, and there's something that kind of gets you hooked. And for certain people, I think they are going to get hooked with the different characters that you kind of run into along the way. You get different dialogue choices to choose from to kind of lead the conversation, and there is actually points during the drive where you just kind of sit there and you can look at the scenery around you. It's a scenic break, they call it. And I mean, it kind of lulls you into this self security thing, and you don't really know what's ever going on. I never really started a trip and ended one ever feeling confident about what was going to happen next here. And it was just confusing overall. It was hard the way they kind of, told this story. It was so broken with chunks and weird things happening the entire time that it was really hard to follow. And then when we get to the end, without giving too much away, it was just really interesting the way it all ended. It felt like maybe there was parts of this story that if we had 2 or 3 more trips, maybe we could have cleared things up a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't want to give too much away because the whole story is based on, the narrative that we're going through here. But I have a hard time thinking people are going to want to stick around long enough because it's just so bizarre.
Absolutely, Corey. I want to touch on the ending without spoilers, right? Obviously. Dude, I didn't like it. Plain and simple. I just didn't like the ending. The way it wrapped up, I was like, huh? Like, I was still, really? All these road trips lead to this? Like, you gotta be kidding me. It felt like if they put another 2 chapters into this, oh my goodness, that would have been way too long. Like, it was already getting a little long in the tooth for me going through the game, but just the way it wrapped up, I didn't feel it wrapped up anything. Like, I'm still confused as to, okay, the whole story is about you and a significant other and the relationship that kind of builds upon that, and what you're trying to recall your past to figure out what's going on. By the time the game ends, though, I'm still confused and I still don't know what's going on. It's just, what a bizarre flipping game this is, Corey. Talk about confusion from the get-go right to the very end.
Oh, I know.
Are you sure? I mean, look through it and see if it tells you which way is east.
Well, Corey, I think I've traveled down this road long enough. For me, Hitchhiker, a mystery game, is one of the most bizarre titles I have ever played in my entire life. This is one weird game. Definitely curious to see how many people are going to push through the story to find out the disappointing ending on this one. For me, I'm wrapping this up with a 4.
You know what, Drew? I'm right there with you. This game just confused me from start to finish. It's about 2.5 hours to play through, so there's not a lot of game here. And the whole time, you're just kind of shaking your head, what's going on? And again, like you said, the disappointing finish on this one just really didn't deliver with how obscure this story was. So, you know what? I got to give this one a 4 as well.
Sorry, Copernicus. I might have used you a little like you used me. Let's just say, I'm not your girlfriend.
Interesting storyline that keeps you scratching your head, but the utter confusion this game can cause will be what keeps you from finishing it.
Yes, he's almost out. We're pulling. I'll be handing him over in a sec. Hang on. There's a third car now. A Volvo. Pulling up. What's that doing here? What the hell? Watch it, buddy.
So, some big numbers coming from Focus Home Interactive, a very well-known video game publisher. They've made the likes of the Surge series, the Styx series, that stealth-based goblin game. Yeah, that was an awesome franchise if you've never checked it out. Also, A Plague Tale. This was an excellent game that came out about 2 years ago now. So, all this being said, the fact that they've had a 20% growth in 2020 to 2021 to make 171 million euros worth of money, that's insane to me. And what that means, hopefully, is that we'll get another Plague Tale. That game was incredible. I can't stress to you enough how good that game was. The Surge, also an awesome iteration of the Dark Souls feel of RPGs. All excellent games, so to see a 20% growth, awesome news from Focus Home Interactive. Let's get some more great games.
The Call of Duty Season 3 is upon us, and I wanted to focus on the Warzone Season 3 updates. The fact is we got the nuke that we were hoping for. Verdansk has been nuked, the zombies have been eradicated, and what Battle Royale players were hoping for is we were going to be getting a new map. Well, that wasn't the case. They decided to roll time back and send us back to 1984 Verdansk. And you know what? This isn't necessarily a bad change, but it has been met with a ton of criticism. I know the event wasn't really, it didn't really live up to what everybody was hoping for. The build-up was huge, the anticipation was massive, and the event was kind of stale. They did it in 2 parts. There was a ton of issues logging in. There was huge 20-minute, 30-minute queues just to get into the game before the event. It was done kind of shoddily, it seemed like, and for the build-up that they gave it, it just didn't quite deliver. I mean, the cutscenes were pretty cool, but outside of that, we didn't get a whole lot here, and it was a bit of a letdown overall. But that was just the event. Moving into Season 3, we are looking at a new map. Yes, it may still be Verdansk, we may still recognize a lot of the names of the points of interest, but we have a lot of changes. We have 7 new points of interest, and actually 5 other points of interest, existing ones, have been restructured. Like the airport, the entire 2nd floor has actually been fixed now. It doesn't have a giant gaping hole in the middle of it anymore. So I like the fact that, we're getting a bit of a rewind here, and their explanation for it was they don't think that the story of Verdansk has been told completely yet. They wanted to prequel with what we've been playing in already and all the storylines that have followed, and they want to tie the Black Ops Cold War storyline in with Verdansk, especially in 1984, and, Verdansk is brought back to kind of this more beautiful, colorful, town and place, and it's nice to see it kind of switches things up. And the fact is it will feel familiar, but it is going to be completely different. So it'll be interesting to see as the season goes on how people are going to adjust this change. But again, they were hit with some pretty heavy criticism early on because a lot of people were hoping for something completely different. So that was a big kind of toss up on their end to try to get in there and just not give us something completely new, but really give up an overhaul of what we're used to right now. So you know what, I'm happy to see something new in COD Warzone Season 3. I'm really hoping you guys are too, but I'm definitely telling you, this one was met with a ton of criticism. I'll be interested to see how well and successful this one is moving forward.
If you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, then I'm sure you're reaping the benefits of this amazing value for money deal for a subscription service. With over 100 plus games for you to download free at your disposal. You also get free online multiplayer, as well as they also give you 2 to 3 games for you to download every month for you to keep. Well, recently they've just added xCloud streaming, which means you can stream games from your console or from the Game Pass library straight to a portable device. But unfortunately this was only available for Android users, as Apple suggested that this was a violation for their App Store policy. Well, good news is that Microsoft has released on their webpage that they've already started sending out invites to select Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members to start testing the Xbox Cloud Gaming Limited Beta for Windows 10, PC and Apple phones and tablets via web browsers. They're launching xbox.com/play, where invitees can play over 100 Xbox Game Pass titles through Edge, Google Chrome or Safari, offering cloud gaming through the browser, and having a simplified universal landing page presents a great opportunity to make cloud gaming approachable to more players in more places over time. They also mentioned as well that the limited beta is the time to test and learn, and they'll send out more invites on a continuous basis to players in all 22 supported countries. They'll evaluate feedback, continue to improve the experience, and add support for more devices. Now this is fantastic news, as there is a lot of people that only have Apple devices and they're missing out on this cool feature. Well, I actually did get an invite this morning and I had time to quickly check it out. So I had a compatible Bluetooth controller, a clip to hold my iPhone. I just log into my account and pick a game from the games library, and away it goes. Just stream straight to your device. Another cool feature which they've added as well is that you don't always want to take your controller with you on the move, and there is actually up to 50 games from the Game Pass library that is actually optimized to use touchscreen. It seems to me that Microsoft and Xbox are absolutely thought of everything, and including with the Apple users, this will include another 3 billion users to their subscription as well. It just seems to me they're just getting better and better.
Can we do it? Can we bring back the gods?
When Typhon attacked us on the Golden Isle, he crushed us. It was only the arrival of a new god that saved us.
I'm back with the latest DLC in Immortals Fenyx Rising: The Last Gods. And well, this one's definitely taken a different turn. I was presented with this top-down view, and that really changes up the whole formula of what Immortals Fenyx Rising was in the beginning. Obviously a third-person perspective, lots of action, and the whole view itself really was changed on its head with the Lost Gods. The Lost Gods top-down view really kind of turned me off of the game, to be completely honest. The formula here has really changed. When you're playing Immortals Fenyx Rising and all the other DLC, you were there in this third-person perspective where you can oversee the vistas, and the camera angles are a lot easier when it comes to the world of combat. Here, you're in more of a brawler top-down perspective, and that's okay, but I still want to be able to see more. And because you're so far out, you don't actually get to see all the details of your new hero, Ash. Coming back to Immortals Fenyx Rising, apparently Zeus hasn't turned out to be the nice guy he once was when we left off. The story has changed in the fact that the gods have gone because they can't stand Zeus. He's ticked them off to make them kind of go out and set up their own place in their own kingdom. So now that they have their own area, it turns out the rest of the world for the mortals has really taken a turn for the worst. That's where our latest hero, Ash, steps in. Fenyx is on a mission to find who can help bring back the gods. And while our latest hero, Ash, is just that mortal. The story feels much more similar in the sense of the humor and the way the dialogue unfolds compared to Immortals Fenyx Rising original game. Not the latest DLC, where Mists of the Eastern Realm kind of felt like it was taking a back seat when it came to the writing. This one feels much more whimsical, a lot more charm and personality was placed into the Lost Gods, and the story is what kind of kept me going forward. Unfortunately, it was hindered by a lot of the actual game mechanics and game changes when it came to playing Lost Gods. The Lost Gods' latest adaptation here now changes up the formula on a lot of things with the whole altars. You need to go to your altar. We did that back in the original, so you can then customize Fenyx. That's great, but it also, this time around, changes up how you save the game. That's right, in order to save the game, you need to have resources to offer to the gods in order to save. No longer can you just hit the start button and hit save. You know, the basic principle of how you save a game: hit start, save the game, you're good to go. Not this time. You need to have resources, figs, out in the wild, gather up those resources, bring them to an altar, offer them to the gods, and then save your game. Yeah. Why would they do that? I'm not quite sure. Wasn't too thrilled by that mechanic of the game. And then if you want to do any fast travel, if you're looking to kind of bounce around the map, which is huge, there is so much to do in here. The map is massive, feels very Immortals Fenyx Rising-esque when it comes to the original game. It's a large scope of a game, which is fantastic if you can get past the camera angle and some of these mechanics they've changed, because when it comes to the world of fast travel, you need to go to the altar again. No longer can you just hit start, pause the game, pull up the map, select where you want to go because you've been to that viewpoint before, and then fast travel. They've taken that out. They made you go from one altar to another altar. Again, another change that just doesn't resonate with me. When this, to me, feels like its own game, not Immortals Fenyx Rising DLC. It feels like they've taken what they've kind of had a little bit in that feel of Immortals Fenyx Rising and just went out and created their own thing. I get it's a separate DLC, but at the same time, it lost a lot of the mechanics that we had in the previous game and the DLC for that matter. This will wrap up my review of Immortals Fenyx Rising: The Lost Gods, and it's an unfortunate review. This isn't what I was hoping for the last piece of DLC coming out of the game. This seems to be like its own game, its own spin-off. This isn't really kind of tying in with what I was hoping we would have when it comes to the context of Immortals Phoenix Rising. The story's there. We do have Phoenix, and she kind of wraps up and then pushes us forward into the game. The dialogue and the writing is fantastic. The art style is incredible. But the core mechanics of the game being changed so drastically for me was really off-putting. And simple things like the save function or the fast travel was just a mystery of why that was changed at all. And then the same powers again are back for the third time. I don't understand. Third piece of DLC, getting the same things again, just isn't enough to help me want to kind of keep going into this game. The world itself is huge, but who wants to explore it when I wasn't exactly all that thrilled in the first place? For me, this is an unfortunate one and pretty disappointing. And it leaves me with The Lost Gods at a 5. The Lost Gods' change in gameplay mechanic may appeal to some, but with such a drastic move in camera and gameplay direction, it felt like a whole different game. However, the voiceover and great charm and dialogue is still there for those to enjoy.
Oh, hey! A Minotaur horn! I've always never wanted something this gross.
Well, you might not want it, but it would sure make a nice sacrificial offering.
Guys, if we look back and go digging deep, we know that PlayStation has a vast library and there's some definite hidden gems. What exclusives have we not seen in a very long time that we want to see come back? Corey, why don't you kick it off?
Well, I know we all kind of had a tough time because there are a ton of exclusives that you could pick through that, haven't seen games, as far as, early 2000s. And they're all games we played a lot growing up. And the one I kind of resonate with the most because I feel like I played it nonstop was Twisted Metal. And this game was one of these car fighting smash 'em up games that was kind of the king of that genre for its time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that game came out in 1995. The original release of that game was in 1995. And that's unbelievable. And they had some successful, games past that. They did have the most recent one in 2012. It didn't really hit as nicely as I think fans were hoping for.
Yeah.
So it'd be really nice to see this come back because, let me tell you, I wouldn't mind hopping in as Sweet Tooth and smashing into some Axel because that game was so much fun and I had a blast playing it, and it would be nice to see a game like that brought into the next gen. We played that Destruction Derby game recently.
Yeah.
I just think use mechanics like that, we can recreate this game and I think we can make it really, really good. So I want to see it again. Nate, I got Twisted Metal. What do you got?
That's awesome, man. I grew up playing Twisted Metal Small Brawl with my buddy, and actually Twisted Metal 2 or 3. But
Nice.
mostly Small Brawl, and man, I love that game. But all right, Sly Cooper from Sucker Punch Games, guys.
Way back.
This is one of those games I got for birthday,
Yeah.
and I remember actually I got it, and I was at that age where you're like, you think you're older and you're bigger. And I remember being like, oh, this is a cartoony game, and actually not really kind of being reluctant or whatever about it. And anyways, I ended up start playing it, and wow, it hooked me, and I beat that game. And as a
Awesome.
kid, that was an achievement, man. I
yeah.
had a short attention span, so I would get into a game and then I'd stop and then I would never play it again. But that being said, man, Sly Cooper, what an excellent franchise. I can't speak for their later titles. I did play the one on the Vita and I thought it was pretty decent.
Dude, it was good.
Yeah, okay. So my little experience with that was great, but man, it's hard because they got Ratchet and Clank. And they got another title that Drew's gonna mention that we actually haven't seen in forever.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going way back to Jak and Daxter. Jak and Daxter was just it was funny because a lot of people went either with Ratchet and Clank or Jak and Daxter, and I went Jak's way, man. And it was wow. It went over 3 games. It was fantastic. Naughty Dog, you will never see them make that game now that they have The Last of Us. They were working on another Jak title, and I was so excited to hear that, and then found out that it actually just turned into The Last of Us. So that kind of cancels that whole game completely. I don't know if we'll ever see it again, which kind of breaks my heart because I loved those characters. It just brought so much life and personality to a game, and it was just fantastic. And the last time we saw that was 2004. So good luck if we're ever gonna get a new one, but it would be exciting.
Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed.
Man, growing up, I had Ratchet and Clank 1, Sly Cooper 1, and Jak and Daxter. I had the 3 of them.
The OGs.
And, yeah, those were great games, man.
Yeah.
Scott, what's your hidden gem that we haven't seen forever?
I don't have a super vast experience with PlayStation. My head is swirling right now with the idea of Twisted Metal Battle Royale.
Yeah, right? I know. My mind's going too, Scott.
Bringing that into the modern era would be so interesting.
Yeah.
Just as Nate kind of was hesitant to get into a certain game, I was also very hesitant about a certain series, and that is Resistance. Now, there's a lot of people that really enjoyed Resistance, but I don't believe it was quite a commercial success enough to keep the game going through an entire series, and that's very unfortunate. I had the experience of playing it because my Xbox 360 at the time was totally out of commission, as they often were, and I had access to a PlayStation 3. I made myself an account. After about a week or so of sitting with no games, I cracked and I couldn't handle it. I went straight to Resistance, smashed through the campaign, really liked it, moved on to multiplayer and crushed the multiplayer servers. And I just could not help but really acknowledge that I enjoyed this game. I really did. So I would like to see what they want to do with new hardware and what, the PlayStation 5 is capable of. That could pump out a really interesting Resistance game. It might be the right time for it.
That could be. Anything's possible. Sony, those ones are on us. So let's see what you can do. You're very welcome. Everybody, let us know, what is your PlayStation hidden gem? InsideTheGame.ca. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the privilege and honor to welcome Lucas from Denki Crew to talk about Last Oasis. Yes. Lucas, thank you for joining us. And if people have their heads in the sand, tell them what Last Oasis is all about.
Nice. Thank you, Drew. It's great to be here at ITG. And, Last Oasis is a survival nomadic MMO game, which is like basically you need to survive on this post-apocalyptic world where the Earth stopped rotating after a big cataclysmic event in the future. So the Earth doesn't rotate around its own axis, it only revolves around the sun. So you pretty much have like this fine, narrow strip of land that is actually inhabitable because half of the Earth is completely like burnt from the sun and the other part is completely frost because there's no sunlight. So like the nomads need to keep moving from oasis to oasis, and that's kind of like the premise of the game. And you start there, tossed into the middle of the desert from the flotilla, which is this nomadic walking city that we have in the lore of the game. And then you're thrown into the desert, and you need to figure out how to get back to the flotilla. So pretty much you were working for the flotilla, you kind of paid your debt, and now you are in this trial to kind of like survive and come back now with resources. And that's kind of like the start of the game, and the overall motto, just like keep moving, the world is dying.
Absolutely, world is dying there. Now you've been working on the Xbox version, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's been over in Steam Early Access. You can find it there right now. It's been there for the past year and a bit, I would say, at this point.
Yes.
Now it's switched over to game preview over on Xbox. What's the feedback been like with that transition coming to Xbox?
It's awesome, actually. Like the game was released on Early Access on Steam on March 26th, and we actually managed to release the Xbox version exactly 1 year later on March 26th, 2021. So
nice.
It was a ride, man. It was awesome. Like from the start, actually, there's a lot of history we're gonna talk about here because like this game is a very hardcore kind of survival PvP, and this kind of genre that is like meant for the PC gamers, right? And then we kind of started like that. Denki Crew starts from these roots. Most of the original members came from modding roots, so they're like heavy hardcore PvP PC players. So we developed this game, and there's a lot of concepts that we saw like, this could actually work out on consoles as well, not only on the PC. And then we actually brought the game to Xbox this year, and we were actually surprised on the reception, to be honest, in a lot of aspects, because it is a very harsh game, right? Like you've played a lot, like it's very hardcore. Like it can be super relaxing as well, but like all of that can crumble all the time because someone can just come and just like, well, not play
with others.
So that happens, and but it's also like the nature of the game in the community.
Sure.
But when we actually released on the Xbox, I was a little bit afraid of some stuff. Of course, most of it would be Xbox players being completely trashed by PC players because of the skill ceiling, right? So thinking like this game is a hardcore PvP game. It has like directional combat, and you're bringing this to a gamepad, right? You're bringing this to the controller. And that was one of the most difficult parts. And I was like afraid of like, I think we nailed it, but we need to see the people playing. Of course, we also did some other changes for the Season 3 that also launched with the Xbox version. But tied together, everything was super nice. Like the Xbox players, we get like amazing reviews on the game. Like we actually started, like when our reviews popped up first, it was like 4.8 stars out of 5 from the first players. And then of course it keeps dropping a little bit, but we're still like in a solid like 4 stars out of 5. And that was super awesome for us, because of course we had the same kind of reviews as well, kind of like players being like, oh, this is too hardcore and stuff like that. But most of them were like, wow, this game is really cool. Like it's a game preview, it runs very nice on the Xbox. Of course it has some issues, it's a game preview, we have bugs and crashes that we're fixing, but like compare with our release on PC, that if everyone was around was a little bit tricky because we had the server issues. The Xbox release was awesome. It was amazing. We were there like kind of expecting when stuff would go wrong, and actually everything was nice. So it was a nice change of setup.
That's awesome. You touch on how hardcore the game is. Is there a concept at all in the works for maybe just a PvE server so people can go in, have a more chill time, just worry about kind of crafting and building out their walkers and not worried about the whole PvP aspect of the game?
Definitely. So for the Season 3 right now with the Xbox release, we definitely talked a lot about that. Like, well, it's a different platform. Of course, the game is cross-play, and you can also play on only Xbox servers or only PC servers, and also in the cross-play servers. But you can actually select that for private servers. So we have like a lot of philosophies going on, right? Like you have like the MMO philosophy, you have the PvP hardcore, and then you also have the platforms and how this player bases kind of react to it. The thing that we try to do first is to try out in the Season 3 some other approaches to our biggest problem. Like one of the biggest problems of Last Oasis is that it gets too hardcore and it's like too massive, and usually like the more hardcore kind of like griefing players drive away some of the more chill that want to see the game, and that was inevitable in a way, and we tried to kind of fix it without messing with the large scale that the game was, because we were really proud of what we did with that, with the global network of realms and stuff. And we changed that. Now you have like separated regions, you have like separated completely separated regions. Of course, this is a test. We are feeling how it's gonna go and how it's gonna go for the future. But we also introduced like some different caps for clan sizes. So you have like kind of like the hardcore realms right now, which there is no clan caps. It's a smaller realm than the like vanilla Season 1 and 2 realm. It's not that big, but it's the same experience that you can have like gigantic clans and do gigantic clan warfare. And in the other servers, it's actually we limited the amount of people in your clan. So you can have like a solo realm, which is like just you cannot have another clan. It's just you versus the other clans and the other people. The other one is like 3, 5, 12. So we have like this, we are figuring out like what is the threshold there. So we did this, and it kind of like it got us a lot of good information and data on like how these realms thrive, and how the players that play on the 5 clan cap realm feel, and it's more chill than the uncapped realms and stuff like that. And then, of course, we are tying this data with the release of new content. There is a lot of PvE content kind of like in our backlog.
Okay.
But of course, PvE content is like one of the most not only expensive but difficult to make and to ship. When you actually create some mechanics and put on PvP, you expect, well, the other players are going to be there to use those mechanics one versus the other.
Sure.
With the PvE, no, you need to think about all of the other stuff. So we have some mobs, we have some PvE content in the game, but still the major focus was PvP. And now we're actually turning more towards PvE.
So let's talk about the PvE aspect of the games, because right now you have the Roku, you have I'm drawing is it the Nurs? Is that what we call them?
Yes, the tigers, right?
Yeah. Those things are a nightmare. What other aspects can we expect then coming out of the PvE side that players can look forward to?
So the biggest thing that is coming, like close, I cannot say exactly when, but like we're finishing it. It's close. It's very close. Well, for everyone that understands, Last Oasis is a game that also has that kind of like this rollout on the content, right? So in the first weeks you have these maps, and then other maps come to appear, and then you have more content. One of the contents coming is the sandworm, right? The big worm, the long one, where you're gonna be able to farm that and like to hunt that with a party or with others. Like it's gonna like scrap you for resources. It's been like some time since we've been working on the worm. Like we showed at the Gamescom, the first kind of prototype of it was really fun. And we're finishing up that with the worm coming. There's also some other PvE content coming in the next patch that we're gonna launch, which kind of like closes out the kind of like last content additions for the season 3, which is the new map, also Callous Spires, which with the Callous Spires you're gonna also be unlocking the new flying walker, like the Raptor Skywalkers. And in the Callous Spires there's also like some gigantic Rupu cities. So you're gonna see new Rupu, and also like there's like some Rupu dungeons that you can actually explore on this map, on this city. So Worm coming, the new Rupus, Flying Skywalker, new map, but there's also some other creatures, and we are thinking some designs for like how we can make the world more dynamic, right? So like we talked in the beginning, the biggest focus was this PvP aspect. So like a lot of content and features for people to fight against each other. And then you have some like the Rupus are awesome, right? They're like you have the AI, they are like directional combat as well, so like they feel like playing a player. But of course, if there's only Rupu, we get stalled very fast. And right now we have like the Ocam, which is like the big crab, and like the Femkill, which is just like for harvesting resources, like you should not kill them. But and also the tigers. But there are more coming, like the worm, the new Rupus, and also like there are also new mobs that we have lined up to come later next year. But we need to feel how we're gonna put like this content like into like our priorities.
The guys and I were live this week over on twitch.tv/theofficialitg, and we got into some Frist Class Trouble. We had an absolute blast. Check this out. Oh yeah, I got nothing.
I don't know who sabotaged that.
It wasn't me. I know that.
To be fair, I don't even know what was sabotaged.
The oxygen.
Yeah, one of the oxygen.
Oh, things. Like one of the ones you put the canisters in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Nip.
I'm waiting for one of us just to press yes by accident and be the odd man out there.
I got a fire extinct.
Oh, I got a door over here.
I got a 6-pack.
Open it.
And
another 6-pack.
Oh, my inventory's full apparently from the 6-pack.
Think something.
Oh, there's a hot tub?
Yo, you're in it.
Yeah,
did you grab you got the flamingo?
Let's go.
Oh, I got the red key card.
Oh, nice. All right, let's go catch that in. Do we know where to catch it? Adam's got the green one. You got the red one.
Oh right, I'm drowning.
Oh, Steve's drowning.
I'm drowning. No. I have a cigarette.
It's needed.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's this way. It's this way. Right
I
here.
grabbed. Sorry, Nate. I grabbed by accident. Oh, that didn't work. Steve, what are you? I got him.
Oh my god.
Oh no, he's dead. Did you?
No.
Steve, what
Pushed
you
him in
do?
the water.
No. Hey,
Parker's trying to
I'm
help me.
trying to.
Can you bring him back?
I found the blue key card.
Nice.
All right,
Cash
we're
it
good.
in. We're good to go. All but Steve.
Okay, I gotta
He died.
get out of here.
Can we carry his corpse in the elevator? Steve, I got you. You're coming with us.
I don't exactly know how to get out of here because the door closed.
right here.
Can you? I need.
Oh.
Oh,
I can't get out of here. There's a door over here.
I don't trust you. Someone come with me.
All right, I'm coming. I'm coming. But I'm
we should
holding.
go-
Few people. Everyone come.
I'm through.
Oh, he's through. He's coming. He's coming. He's coming.
Come back.
Last time I went anywhere with Corey, he killed me.
Oh no.
Have me right
Oh, we
in
can't
the
get him. Can you get him?
Oh no.
Oh no, Steve.
I tried to grab to hold him too.
I can't grab him now. Oh, Steve, you're stranded here, buddy. You're on your own. Can you grab him?
No.
He really needed this flamingo, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Now he's flying around the map as the Roomba. Roomba with the feet. Whoa, why, Nate? Why is your guy's head going wild?
How are you doing that?
This guy's just rocking out to the elevator.
He's got August head.
So this cane thing on the left screen is what we have to shut down, right? That's the thing you were running over to, Adam, and our.
Yeah.
Okay, I have no idea what happened with. I got nothing. I got no vote.
Steve, yeah.
So Steve fell in the pool.
I think so. Yeah, I think he just fell in. I don't know. Maybe someone pushed him in. I don't know if he tried to go for a swim. I have no idea what happened. No
So,
one.
good to know that if I go in
All
any
the
deeper
above
than
could happen.
a hot tub, I'm dead.
Pretty much.
Good to know.
I have a feeling Steve was one of the
Personoids?
Personoids? Really, eh?
Could they drown?
Well, he is made of metal, so maybe he's too
That'd be
heavy. He
funny
can't
if
swim.
only you at least can swim.
I'm holding it down for someone. This is the ultimate trust.
Okay, I'll go. Everybody can watch, right? Everybody sees this?
What is?
Alright, I'm going. Do it.
I'm holding it. No, whoa, no, hold up. Dude, it says press F to hold to activate.
Oh my god.
No, man, I don't know how this works. I'm trying to press F and it just keeps saying it's on.
I was hoping it dropped. Oh, it just did it again. Hold it for a second.
No, hold up. Let me see. I'll hold it. There we go.
Alright, well, let's not waste our time.
Corey was sus. I got him for you, Adam. Okay, Nate, can you activate that thing? How do we shut this down? Oh, I must agree. Shut down.
Yeah, Corey, you were sus. Eh?
Yeah, I got him, didn't I? Okay, what do we do?
I don't know, man. What are you doing? I'm just saying.
I'm shutting down this thing. Can you come?
Oh, Scott.
Come on over here. Do you have to shut this down with me? You guys have to shut this down too?
All players alive must agree to shut down Kane, but if one is a personoid, they will. Oh.
Oh.
Alright, let's shut it down, guys.
Shut it down,
Let's
Scott.
just hope for the best.
It's not. I don't have any buttons.
Hold it, press F.
Oh no.
Oh, it's cooldown. Oh no.
Hold it.
Everyone now.
Oh, it's Scott. Dude, it's Scott. Get him. Hold him. Grab him.
How do you hold him?
F. Hit F. Grab him. Oh, oh no. Oh, I died. Oh.
Come on.
It's Scott too, by an accident. That would have been perfect.
I'm like, man, Corey's sus. Forget this. Push. I get you out of here.
Yo, by the way, not down with that maneuver.
Who killed Steve? Who killed him this time?
Hey guys, this week we're checking out AC Valhalla again. We're actually jumping into the River Raids DLC, which was part of the Yule Season DLC a little while back. I hadn't actually gotten a chance to check it out yet. Since the Wrath of the Druids DLC has been delayed for 2 weeks, I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to jump in, try it out, and kind of get set for the DLC that's going to be dropping in a couple of weeks. So without any further ado, let's hop in on some River Raids. To get into the River Raids DLC, you're going to head to the eastern shoreline of Ravensthorpe, your settlement, where there you're going to find Vaughn. He's a new character with a new building, and there's actually a new boat dock there as well. This is just for the River Raids. You need to be level 131 and also have a barracks built in your current settlement to actually activate this DLC's portion and be able to get into it. That being because they have said that the difficulty of this is a little bit higher. You can't just jump into it base level and kind of get things going. You play through the story here a little bit, you level your character up, and then it kind of opens up this extra free DLC that you can now check out. And let me tell you, Vaughn does a good job here. He gives you a few tips and tricks along the way. He takes you out on his boat to start, and you kind of get into the first couple raids with his help, and you kind of learn the the lay of the land and how it all works. And the best part is he gives you a few tips that really help, because you're going to be dealing with a larger crew of Jomsviking here, not the same that you've been dealing with in the game up to this point. You're actually going to be getting a few more to recruit and actually take care of. So when you go out on these raids, if you press down on the D-pad, you can actually pull up and see what they have for rations, health, and you can see how much storage you have left in your boat as well, because when you're doing these raids, you're going to be collecting materials along the way that will allow you to upgrade your boat, upgrade different items for your boat. There's lots of customization here, and it actually allows you to unlock the ability to build a new building, the Jomsviking Hall. Here, you'll actually be running into Jomsviking that are looking to be recruited just for the River Raids DLC.
Welcome to the Jomsviking Hall, Abel. Been a long time since we've had a permanent place to gather and share stories. Come here to hire more Jomsviking for your raids. Eivor, I have been meaning to mention to you the legacy of St. George.
Is this some sort of ridiculous legend?
It is.
Once you're done building your Jomsviking Hall, go back to Vaughn, and he will give you a quest chain for St. George. And what you're going to be doing is looking for St. George's armor that's been scattered throughout the different rivers that you're going to be raiding. The nice thing here is the way the mechanics work for River Raids is as you raid certain areas on one map, the defenses for the other settlements on that map start to go up. So eventually you're going to either have a full ship of materials that you're going to have to bring back, or the defenses of the places you're trying to raid have just too high. So what you got to do is bounce out, go back to Ravensthorpe, offload all the materials you got, and then jump back into a different river so that you can lower the alert level from the previous river that you're on. I thought this was kind of a cool mechanic that they added in, and I like that idea, and that's kind of the difference between these raids over the ones you just kind of get into in the regular game. Once you found the first 4 pieces of St. George's armor in the first 2 rivers, what that's going to do is unlock the third river, the River D, for you to start exploring and raiding to find the last 2 pieces. And one of the pieces is actually going to be the sword, and this is where it kind of ends in kind of a finale type situation for the quest here. Is you're going to be up against a bit of a boss battle to get that last piece, and he's up in this big castle. To be honest, at the power level I was at, it was fairly easy to dispatch of this boss to get the sword, but I think if you were down in that level 130 to 200, it may be more of a difficult matchup. The nice thing is it is during a raid that you will face this final boss, and you will have some of your Jomsviking there helping you. So depending on the level of your Jomsviking, you may be able to easily dispatch this guy and move on to the next quest. But once you do get the full set of armor, let me tell you, it looks pretty awesome. Once you get your guy suited up, he looks really, really cool. This is kind of a suit of armor that isn't exactly like any of the other ones we've had so far in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So I did like the fact that this River Raids DLC kind of brought something new to the table and allowed us to kind of just jump in and have a good time. There isn't, a ton of content here. Like I said earlier, you're only about 3 to 5 hours total, depending on the level of exploration you want to do. But I like the idea is that we have a huge map of England here, and we only took up 3 small spots for these rivers. So I got a good feeling feeling as we move along here and as the seasons update, we may be getting some more River Raid DLC. But it doesn't mean you can't jump back in and just kind of keep grinding away at the different raids that there are available here. You can just kind of keep collecting. I believe Vaughn's store will hopefully be expanding at some point, so you can have a few more customization options there, because again, at some point you're really going to run out of content here. But I really enjoyed the River Raids DLC. I haven't played Valhalla for a little bit, so it's nice to be able to jump back into something fresh. And it was, you know, a little bit of a stopgap between now and when the Wrath of the Druid DLC does drop, because it was delayed for 2 weeks. We are waiting a little bit longer. So if you haven't jumped in and checked out River Raids, I'm telling you, this is the perfect time to, because AC Valhalla is still an awesome game.
Alright, this week I'm revisiting Hunt Showdown. Here's why. So, back in May 2019, Scott and I actually checked out this game, and of course, we did have a good time. But over the last couple of years, this Battle Royale has evolved into something that I think almost everybody that is into this style of game should check out. So, this Battle Royale is up to 12 people in a match, and up to teams of 3. So, with you and your team, if you're going that route, need to track down a monster. So unlike other battle royales, it's you against the elements as well as other hunters. So you got hellhounds and zombies and all sorts of abominations that are out there to kill you while you're tracking down this monster. And what's really great are these monsters, man. They are really tough, some of them. There are a few tricks that you can use to kill them, but still, all in all, they're very unique and tough to kill. If you and your team actually manage to track down the monster and kill it, you actually then have to banish it, which basically notifies the entire map where you are, and it takes about 3 minutes to do so. And once that 3 minutes is up, you grab the bounty and then have to leave the map in one of the exit areas. So sometimes if it's in your favor, you'll be really lucky and the exit will be right next to it, and then other times it's on the other side of the map. And what's also unique is these maps often will either have 2 bounties or will have just 1. So it kind of spices things up. It's either, half the map is tracking down one monster and the other half is tracking another, or it's everyone meeting together in a glorious, chaotic mess. So again, what makes this experience incredibly unique is the time period. It's the late 1800s, early 1900s. So you have the likes of the Springfield 1866s, so lots of single shot rounds, or kind of like hunting rifles where you got the lever action and the bolt action, and it takes a while to reload. And this game is very, very heavily dependent on the audio, and I cannot stress to you guys how much the audio is better than anything I've ever played. They use 3D audio, and unlike any other game, I'm talking about Rainbow Six Siege, any of the Call of Duties, all of them are put to shame compared to the audio in this. In this game, you can tell if someone shoots 100 or 200 meters away with the Romero 77 shotgun, or if someone's walking 20 yards and then steps on a twig, you can tell exactly where they are. It's incredible. I can't explain it to you in words. You really just need to put on a headset and experience this game because it's unlike anything else. And what makes this experience even more unique is at the start of each round, you need to load out a hunter. There are a wide variety of weapons. Again, what kind of like I touched up on earlier, they are really cool. You got like the Springfield 1866 or like the Sparks LR, which are like breech round rifles. Or then you have the likes of Maz and the Jan, where it's this crazy semi-auto rifle that you can shoot 15 rounds in like 4 seconds. Which again, I know it sounds kind of overpowered, but ultimately in this game you can get killed in one shot, no problem. A headshot is a headshot, and if you can shoot them in the chest with any rifle, it pretty much is gonna almost take them down. So that all being said, there is a high risk, high reward while you're loading out your characters. There's bombs and health packs and knives, all sorts of trip mines and the likes that you can load out your character with, but it costs hunt dollars. And if you go in and then just die right away, you lose everything. There's no getting any of it back. So that's again that battle royale kind of style where you lose everything if you don't succeed. But what's nice is you're not forced to spend any hunt dollars at all. Every match you can get a free hunter, and then if you die with that hunter, the next match they give you another free hunter. It's a nice balance because you will die over and over again at times. This game is incredibly hard, and the community is slightly relentless. Like, they will kill you. I haven't had any sort of hate, which is wonderful. Like, I never get any hate messages or anything like that. Not once in my entirety of playing this game, which really leads me to believe that this is more of a mature-based audience that plays this game. And kids aren't really going to like it. It is a tough game that, you know, I hope that you all check out.
Well, that'll wrap up this week's episode. Thank you for hanging out with us. And of course, don't forget, you can be a part of our show. Just go to insidethegame.ca or hit us up in Discord, where there you can submit your clip and end off our show, just like Mugs44, jumping into some Hunt Showdown. And well, he looks like he's on fire. Until next week, thanks again, and we'll see you inside the game.